I want to be a teacher in Canada, and right now I have just completed my first year. But this time around, I was in a classroom teaching for 5 weeks, guys. And I'm going to be talking about that experience with you guys. So there's grade 10. When you're in grade 10, you do ELA grade 10 -1 or 2. When you're in grade 11, it's ELA 20. When you're in grade 12, it's ELA 30. And for me, it was strange because coming from Nigeria, where you're either in SS1A or SS1B or SS1C, or science class or art class or commercial class, they don't do that here. Like in this place, you take all of the courses. Like it was so strange. This one, you don't say I am in commercial class, I am in art class. No, all of you are taking the same thing. I took a whole novel study class. Like it was hard. It was so hard. Like I don't mean like hard to plan a lesson, but imagine yourself reading to kids. Imagine asking kids to read and no one replies you in the class and you are standing like this. And aside from that, another thing that was hard for me was that the kids here have their phones. The phone is like the number one thing that takes their attention. And I have to shout, please, can you put your phones down? Can I have your attention? Like, they need more people who would be teachers in Canada that look like them. In my school where I was, like where I did my practicum, they had like a whole meeting of teachers. And I discovered that I was the only black teacher in that school. People just switched from their careers back home to nursing, to care. Nobody's talking about switching to teaching. You can switch to be a teacher and you'll be earning 6 figures. Yes. How much do teachers in Canada make? Teachers in Canada make as much as 6 figures. And I am not kidding. Now, proof number 1. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is livinginalberta, and if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel, like my videos. You would really enjoy it here. And if you're a returning subscriber, I appreciate the love, the support, and always coming back. Please, if you have not turned on your notification bell, please do so that you keep getting videos or you keep getting notified every single time I post and you won't be left out. Okay, so thank you to my new subscribers and thank you to my returning subscribers. Today, what are we doing? We're doing something really different. I put a post on my YouTube post and I just shared some of the things I got from my practicum. By the way, if you're a new subscriber, and I am a teacher candidate in Canada, like I am going to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher in Canada, and right now I have just completed my first year. And I kind of shared that on my YouTube post and talked about the school I worked and how they gifted me some things. I'll show that to you guys in a bit. But I am coming here to talk about 2 things today. The first thing is to tell you about my experience teaching in a high school. This time around, I was in a high school. My first practicum experience, I was in a junior high. So if you have been following my journey, my school, like going back to being a teacher in Canada means that you either evaluate your Bachelor's of Education degree. I did not have that from Nigeria. I was just a teacher teaching with my linguistics degree. And now I have to go back to school to get a Bachelor's of Education. So I'm going back to school and it's for 2 years. So I just completed my first year and I went to a high school as my practicum. My school sends you off every single semester to experience what it means to be in the classroom. So now I finished my first year. I've had my first practicum and my second practicum. And both were really amazing. But this time around, I was in a classroom teaching for 5 weeks, guys. Technically 4 weeks because I observed for a week and then I was teaching for 4 weeks. And I'm going to be talking about that experience with you guys because I have people in Canada who wants to be a teacher or who wants to teach and they don't know how or what the experience looks like. I'm here for you. So I'm going to explain how that experience felt for me, and also I'm here to kind of correct like a notion so many people have about teachers in Canada. I was speaking with a friend, and I will go deep into the details when we get to that aspect of the video. That's the second aspect. I was speaking with a friend, and we're kind of talking about how much salary earns and how people have a different notion. Like, you're coming from your country. I'm from Nigeria, by the way, if you're just seeing this video for the first time, and how much teachers make in Nigeria compared to how much teachers make here. And I'm here to correct the idea of what Canada think of teachers here and how much they actually pay teachers. All of this I am going to be talking about in this video. So stick around, don't go anywhere. This video is going to be packed. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you share this with somebody you think will need this video. And also like this video, subscribe to the channel, and keep coming back for more, because I'll keep sharing my experience so that other people can learn from me. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. Okay, so like I said earlier, I was posted to a junior high in my first practicum. And a junior high is like, in Nigeria, it's GS1 to GS3. And for my first practicum, I was just basically observing. So what I mean by observing is that I wasn't teaching much. I think I only taught like 2 times in the space of 3 weeks. I was there for 3 weeks and I only taught 2 times. And those 2 times is ELA. So ELA is English Language Art. So I was in ELA, English Language Art. That was what I did. And for junior high, if you're teaching English language, you're also going to be teaching social. So I was watching my teacher, my mentor teacher. We call them cooperating teacher. So I was, but for context of this video, I'm calling them mentor teacher. So I was watching my mentor teacher, and I only taught twice. Now I was posted to a high school, and before I was posted to a high school, because I'm sure that like every other person, you were teaching back in Nigeria, you're coming to Canada, you have so many fears. I did have so many fears, and I was changed because of my circumstances. We moved houses. They changed me to a school close by to my house. And before then, I had met my mentor teacher. That's the teacher I'll be watching in that 5 weeks and be learning from. So I had met her earlier, and then she explained to me. She asked me, do I know anything about high school? What are my fears? And these are the things that if you are like me, you should do. Because I was going in for the first time. My school encourages that you see your mentor teacher first, so that it helps you ease whatever thing you're going to be facing in the first day. And you already kind of know the school. You already know where the school is. You know what to expect from the teacher, because you guys had met earlier. Some of my classmates met in a coffee shop. I met her in class, in her classroom. I went when it was a closing time, and I met her. She spoke to me. Really nice person. I discovered that she had a second son 2 days after I had my own son, and we kind of connected. And then she asked me, what are my fears and what do I expect from this practicum? I'm like, my goal for this practicum is that I am comfortable in front of the classroom. I'm teaching Canadian students. I have never really been teaching full-time except in Nigeria. So I was already feeling very anxious. I don't want to say excited, because I didn't know what to expect. So I went, and she spoke to me. She explained to me how her classroom works. She was taking 3 classes. She was taking grade 11, 1 grade 11 and 2 grade 10 classes. Now, this was where I got confused. Now, before I went into the classroom, whenever you're doing, like my school, they taught us lesson planning. They taught us so many things. But every single time we had like some things that go on in the classroom, like lesson planning and all of that, they mentioned something like, in a class of grade 10 as ELA, English language, I'm teaching English language, you have like 2 different sets, like 2 different groups. Now, I'm explaining this because if you're in Canada and you're watching this, you probably are a parent, or your children will go into school very soon, or you're still in Nigeria, you're watching this video, you want to come to Canada and become a teacher, or you're watching this video with the hope that, oh, I would also teach like this person. So I'm trying to break it down the exact way it was broken down to me, so that we can understand each other. And then that way I'll be able to explain deeply what my eyes saw or the experiences I had. So she told me she has like 2 grade 10s and 1 grade 11 class that she teaches. So it's like in Nigeria, when you're teaching maybe grade 10, that's SS1. Grade 11, that's SS2. Grade 12 is SS3. So she was taking like SS1 and SS2. And she says she has 2 SS1 classes. Now, it got tricky here. And I've been hearing this in my classroom for the longest time, but I don't know the meaning. And I have this group of people I sit with at table, my colleagues in class, and when they say something, you know, when you're not used to a Canadian system and they say something that I don't even understand this thing. Oftentimes in my first semester, I always raise my hands and ask questions, but it kind of became like everybody starts to look at me like, what's your problem? Every other person in my classroom is a Canadian. Like, they grew up here, so they understood. But I do not understand. I will raise my hand and ask, please, what does this mean? What does this mean? Then it's either the lecturer explains or my classmates just explains. So in order to stop the flow of class, I don't ask questions like that anymore. I just wait till we are done. Then I ask my table friends, Alpha, what does this mean? And they explain. So they used to talk about something like 10-1, 10-2, 20-1, and I'm like, what exactly is this thing? And I still didn't get it in class until I got to this classroom. I will put up a picture of what I mean and how students in from grade 10 move in their classes. So she told me she was in grade 10. She was teaching grade 10 and she had 2 grade 10-2 classes and 1 grade 11 so what they do when you get to grade 11 is they call it 20. They don't call it 10. I hope I don't confuse anybody listening, but I will put a picture up, and that way you should be able to explain what it essentially means. So there's grade 10. When you're in grade 10, you do ELA grade 10-1 or 2. When you're in grade 11, it's ELA 20. When you're in grade 12, it's ELA 30. I'm explaining this because I actually have like something to deeply explain about this. If not, I will have moved on. So they have 2 grade 10 classes. So there's -1 and then there's -2. So -1 are for people on the higher level. So if you're getting as high as 80%, you are in -1 class. If you are getting as low as like 50%, and they would put you in these classes from your grade 9 class. Grade 9 class, that's your GS3. That's what they used to put you in high school. So whatever you get from grade 9 will determine where they split you to. Now you see those people in -1 class are like those people getting the high scores. Those are those people that are going to the university. Those people in -2, they are not going to the university. Yes, you can move from -2 to -1, but if you eventually graduate with a -2 course, you are not moving to the university. You are going to be in a trade school. It's that you are going to learn a trade, or you're going to all these smaller trade colleges. You're not just going to a university. Like, you're not taking a bachelor's. You are taking a diploma. So you need to aim for a -1 class because they teach them different things. Yes, same outcomes, like learning outcomes, learning objectives, but in different ways, because they believe that those who are in -1, they are higher than those who are in -2. And so it was confusing for me, and my teacher explained. So she explained in a way that -1, like -1, -2, 10-1, from 10-1, if you're in grade 10-1, you move to 20-1, that's grade 11-1, you move to 30-1, and you take your diploma exams to go to the university. Now you see, if you're in -2, obviously you can cross over to -1, but you need to make sure that you're eating 80 to 90% before you can cross over to -1. Most people that are in this -2, they are either people with learning disabilities or people that English language is their second language. You know, Canada welcomes immigrants, and some people, English is not even their first language. So those people that are in like -2, they probably have problems with English and they find it difficult. But that's the reason why you can cross from -2 to -1 with improvement. So that's what they do. And for me, it was strange because coming from Nigeria, where You're either in SS1A or SS1B or SS1C, or science class or art class or commercial class. They don't do that here. Like in this place, you take all of the courses: English, bio, you take physics, you take, everybody takes everything. You take sciences, you take, like, it was so strange. This one, you don't say I am in commercial class, I am in art class. No, all of you are taking the same thing. Then you narrow it down when you get to maybe your grade 11 to say, okay, this is the path I'm taking, so these are the courses I will need to get into the university. It was so strange, but I had to adapt. So gradually she told me I'll be taking one of the 10-2 classes. That's the lower class. Another thing I noticed with the 10-2s is that some of them just don't want to go to the -1 class because they are not going to university. And you know that here, blue collar jobs are selling, unlike Nigeria where blue collar jobs do not sell. That's handiwork. So some people really just want to do handiwork and they don't feel like putting so much effort into the studies, and going to do -1 class makes sense for them, so they stay in -2 and they don't have problems with it. So I was taking a -2 class and my teacher asked me to lesson plan. We talked about it. What will you be doing? She told me a plan for the year, and she says, oh, I'll be taking novel study. And yes, I took a whole novel study class. Like, it was hard. It was so hard. Like, I don't mean like hard to plan a lesson, but they've taught us all of that in the classroom. So it was easy to plan a lesson, but imagine yourself reading to kids. Imagine asking kids to read and no one replies you in the class and you are standing like this. And you can't force them to do anything. You can't force a kid to read. You can't force a kid to do what they don't want to do. So it was hard transitioning from me being a teacher in Nigeria to being a teacher here. And aside from that, another thing that was hard for me was that the kids here have their phones. In my school where I taught, it was a private school. The kids never had their phones in class. In fact, we had more boarding students than day students. So what are you doing with the phone in the classroom? The kids are like 100% attentive. But here, the phone is like the number one thing that takes their attention. And I have to shout, please, can you put your phones down? Can I have your attention? Like, I don't want to exaggerate, but I have to shout it like several times. Like, the attention span compared to where I'm coming from is like not it. So it was strange, it was weird. And because they are -2 classes, like a -1 class, I sat in a -1 class, and you will see the difference between a -1 class and a -2 class. A -1 class, they have like their attention. These ones, they're like, I don't want to say the -2s are not focused, but the -1s are like, I'm going for this. This is why I'm here. I know why I'm here. I am going to do this. And so there's always a difference. And it kind of was hard for me to be in that classroom, but I had to cope. So those are those things I experience in the classroom. I cannot yell at kids. You can't. You need to tell them, please, can I have your attention? Like, the way you even speak with kids is way different from the way you speak to kids in Nigeria. Also, aside from just teaching them in classroom, reading to them, I learned that you don't necessarily have to read those books. There are other ways by which you can read. I didn't know that. Like, I knew that audiobooks exist, but they use them here. So I had to download the audiobooks and we listen. Like, listen, I have to follow them around to be sure that they were following me. Also, with a -1 class, in Nigeria, you can just finish reading the book and then tell them, oh, you guys should summarize the book, blah, blah, blah. No, this place, you have to scaffold and give them like a checklist of this is what you want them to do. How did they get to this stage? And how did they get, like, write those things out for them and make them write it out. So it was just a learning curve for me, and it was a different experience entirely. The kids, they were like, you know how kids in Nigeria, once you don't get something, you don't get it. Here, I feel like they give them opportunity for you to be in a higher level class, or not like a lower level, but like a mid-level class. You don't have to be in the classroom with somebody who is in -1 and is so bright, and you're just like, just there. But in all of this dash 1 and dash 2, I kind of feel like one advantage of this dash 1 and dash 2 thing is that the kids don't feel intimidated. Yeah. If you are in dash 1, you're like aiming for 80%, you're getting 80-90%, and somebody else is getting like 30%. The person feels like, oh, I'm dumb compared to this person that is getting 90%. But I thought about it again, and I'm like, it doesn't encourage people also. Because if you're in a dash 2 class and you're getting 70%, in your mind you're like, oh, I'm doing my best, this, but somebody else is getting like a 90% in a dash 1 where you're teaching higher level courses. So it kind of felt like it gave room for the kids to be indulged, like I can just get whatever I want to get and move on. Also, I feel like those aiming to be in a dash 1 class would see their mates and get easily influenced. I saw that happen in that class, and I questioned the fact that why don't they mix them together and let's teach all of them together. And this one in dash 1 can easily influence somebody in dash 2, rather than you sit in class with all dash 2s and you feel like, oh, I'm the boss of all these dash 2s. Like, too many things to question, but in the long run, it's been working for them. And my classmates, a lot of them are 22 years old and the likes, and it's been working for them. They have been in that system, they know how it works, and it's just been good for them. But all through, my experience was like, it gave me the room to see what a classroom felt like. It gave me room to practice with the kids. I set assignments, I did quizzes, I spoke to the kids. Yes, there were a lot of issues back and forth. My supervisor came in to watch me and she gave me lots of reviews. In fact, every single time I taught, like my first teaching in the class, my teacher gave me like 4 pages review of, okay, you did this right, you did this wrong, you did this right, next time you don't do this. And that's the essence of this practicum, for you to keep improving. My first class, in fact, I had everything all planned out. I was like, I'm going to teach this in 30 minutes, in 20 minutes. And high school is 90 minutes class. It's like a double period in Nigeria. 90 minutes class. So I was in that class for 90 minutes. And I did not know that time had not gone. So I was like, I thought everything I had planned out for that single day. And my mentor teacher sat there with typing all of the things that I did bad and did good, and I kept on saying that, and I was done. I was done with everything I had planned for the day, and I didn't know what else to do. I was just looking, and then she jumped in to say, okay, maybe you guys should start a vocabulary of something, and that was what saved me. And after I spoke to her, she gave me a 4-page review and told me, okay, you did this right, maybe capitalize on this didn't work, I think you should try it again the next day. That is something I've learned in teaching here, that everything you plan might not work out. Because these kids, 90 minutes is a long time. Their attention span is like this. So if it doesn't work today, you try it again the next day. And he helped me continuously, that when she continued typing all of those things, my pages continued to reduce and reduce until one day she wasn't even in the class with me. She had some other things to do and she asked me, can you handle the class? And I said yes. And I handled the class all by myself. So over the course of that 5 weeks, I just evolved. That is the word. I just evolved, and he helped me seriously. So they were actually good experiences. They were bad experiences. There were days when I'll come home and then my husband asked me, how was today? And I'm like, oh, I don't even want to talk about it. But that's teaching for you. Some days are good, some days are horrible. You improve on it for the next day. So that was really my experience. Before I left, like the book that I used for the novel study that we used in the class, my teacher made sure that the students gifted me the book, and they wrote lots of really lovely things on the book, and they gave me more gifts before I left, because I really had like a good time in that school. They gave me gifts and it just made me feel welcome. Like, teaching them was really nice, had lots of experiences, but they gave me something to go home with, like, thank you so much for being in our class, we really appreciate. This was one of it. This is like a teacher gift, like Sharpie you use in class, like marker. this was the book I used for my novel study, and they all signed, like not all of them though, they signed the book and wrote really nice things about me in the book and said thank you, and post-it notes and this and a card. So they gifted me all of this before I left. And before I left, I think my last day, one thing I did that would delve into the next half of what I'm supposed to talk about was that I taught a class, I just didn't teach a -2 class. My teacher wanted me to experience what teaching a -1 class means. A -1 class challenges the teacher, like it makes you be on your toes because these guys are smart. And so she asked me to take a grade 11 class, that's SS2. So I taught the class and we did music, like a Nigerian music analysis, like analyzing the lyrics. And I did a song, Roju. I asked questions on my Insta story and on my WhatsApp of people that can help me think of a song that is a Nigerian song and expresses Nigerian culture and the likes. And I picked Roju and I did that song, like analysis of the lyrics, and told them how, if you've not seen that Roju video, go and watch it. It shows like the 3 different cultures, how they do their weddings in Nigeria. And I did that in a grade 11 class. And you needed to see how the kids were so excited to learn about Nigeria. They wanted to ask questions, they talked, they asked questions, we analyzed the lyrics. And I taught that class. I was so happy. They were so attentive compared to my 10-2 class where I have to beg for their attention. Like, not like beg literally, but like ask them to concentrate. And it was so fun to teach that class. But what I'm trying to say is that my experience translating to them in that class made them wowed. My teacher spoke to me and she was like, they need more of these experiences in Canada. Most of these kids have neither gone out of Canada or maybe at most gone to the US, Mexico, and they're back to Calgary. So they really lack experiences about all of this. And aside from that, like, they need more people who would be teachers in Canada that look like them. In my school where I was, like where I did my practicum, they had like a whole meeting of teachers, and I discovered that I was the only black teacher in that school. In fact, the first day I was in class, my teacher was taking a grade 11 class that I taught, and a student walked in. She was black, and immediately she walked in, she smiled at me and introduced us. And my teacher was like, she's so happy to see a black person like herself. She's not a Nigerian, she's from Cameroon. But she's so happy to see a black person like herself in the classroom. So translating all of this, it just made me feel like a lot of people, at least Nigerians, Africans, when you come to Canada, most people do not want to be teachers. Now, this is not to force the teaching career on anybody, but to enlighten people. I have now met people who said, oh, I wish that I knew things about being a teacher in Canada. I would have probably leaned towards this. Some people came in and were teaching back in Nigeria and then they switched to other professions. Or when you come in, people are like, tech is the real gold, nursing is the this, that, and people just switched from their careers back home to nursing, to tech. Nobody's talking about switching to teaching. You can switch to be a teacher and you'll be earning 6 figures. Yes, now I came like with the figures. This time around, I don't just want to talk randomly. I want to show you the figures and how people think that, yes, you're coming for a better life. At the same time, people are looking for jobs that can earn them better money, can give them time for their family and all of that. Teaching is that profession. I've told you people before that I came in as a teacher. Like, my profession, my teaching experience gave me the experience I used for my express entry to come into Canada. And that's why I'm here. So why should you not become a teacher? If you want to be a teacher and then somebody discourages you and tells you that you can't earn well, I'm here to tell you that you can't earn well. With proof. Here teachers earn more, at least in Canada. And I have like a whole chart of showing you how much teachers earn, and I will put that in this video. So if you want to be a teacher, obviously if you have your certificate from back home, convert it. Or if you want to go back to school, it's 2 years. People go back to school here to become nurses and they spend as much as 3 years, 4 years, or 2 years. It's the same 2 years. And this one, you don't have summer break. Now I'm on summer break. I have 4 months of just working, doing anything I like in this summer. So it's like so many benefits and perks to becoming a teacher. So why not become a teacher? That's why I'm coming to talk to you about it. So the first thing I would say is that how much do teachers in Canada earn? Before somebody will tell you that teachers in Canada do not earn well, or teachers in Canada, the first thing you should do for yourself is Google. Everything is on Google, and you should just take everything somebody says hook, line, and sinker. You can always check online. How much do teachers in Canada make? Teachers in Canada make as much as 6 figures, and I am not kidding. Now, proof number 1. When I came to Canada and I wanted to become a teacher, I asked people, okay, how much do people make? In fact, when we got to school, they sent us this screenshot, and I'm going to put up. And they said in Calgary, this is how they do their pay grade. If you have 4 years of work experience, if you have 4 years of postgraduate education, like you went to school for 4 years, you did your bachelor's and you did 4 years of studying English education or 4 years of bachelor's of education, you make a different money from somebody who did 5 years. 5 years in the sense that maybe you did 4 years before, you now had 1 more year, maybe a postgraduate degree in education, or 6 years, you did a bachelor's of education in 1 degree before, like me, and then you now added a bachelor's of education to it. Because me, I already have a linguistics degree, and then I now have a bachelor's of education that I did for 2 years. I have 6 years. In fact, I have 8 years because I have a master's. But all this is to say that this is how they pay. Now, for 0 years, like you're seeing on the screen, 0 years means that you don't have any year of work experience. Like me, once I graduate like this is how much they'll be paying me. If I was doing 4 years, like I had 4 years, they'll be paying me 61,293K. But because me, I have 6 years, they'll pay me 68K. 68,995. Divide that by 12 months. That's like you'll be earning more than $5,000 in a month. Please tell me, all these other jobs that you think are earning well, do you immediately enter into the system and start making the money you say you want to make? Yes, I know tech people make a lot, but you have to also gradually get there. And for teachers, immediately you get your first year of teaching, immediately that first year, they increase your salary. Somebody that was earning 68K, the next year you're going to be earning 72K. The next year, 76K. The next year, 79K. And the funny thing is, in this abroad, time flies. Like, you will not know when time flies. By the time you're done with your 7th year, your 8th year, you're entering your 9th year, you're getting paid 6 figures. 101,343K. Do you believe that teachers earn this kind of money? So, but you have this money every month. Like, every month your salary increases. You that you're earning 5,000 before, you move to someone earning 6K in a month, monthly. And then over the course of the years, you get paid 100K. Is that not flex? How much does it translate to hourly? Because most people, they pay on a wage basis, and it's like something per hour. In Calgary, this is how much they pay. And in Calgary, there's something they call substitute teacher. If you don't get a job, like a full-time contract that you're entering a school, and then after you graduate, you get a school and then you start working, you can also work as a substitute teacher. So you register under whether Calgary Board of Education or Catholic Board of Education, and then you get into the school. Once a teacher says, oh, I'm not coming in today, can somebody sub for me, like substitute, be in my class when I'm away? Or maybe the teacher has some other things to do, and then they want to bring a substitute teacher in who would help. You get paid per day. A substitute teacher gets paid $235 per day. And aside from that, if you are a substitute teacher and let's say you get a continuous contract as a substitute teacher. Now, what do I mean by a continuous contract? Maybe you get into the school and they say, oh, we like you as a substitute teacher. Can you continuously come at least for the next 1 month? Hey, as a substitute teacher that gets $235 per day, it's like 39.5 $39.17 per hour. That's what you get paid. $39 per hour. But if they say, oh, you come to this school, like you sign a contract for a whole month, continuously come to this school, you don't get paid $39 per hour. You get paid $56.61 per hour to be in a classroom teaching the kids. And that translates to being paid $339 per day. Tell me how teachers do not earn well. So teachers get paid well. And aside from this, you also have, like, I had to check Edmonton. Edmonton is like the capital of Alberta. And I checked how much do they earn in Edmonton. It makes no difference. The difference between how much they earn in Edmonton and how much they earn in Calgary is less than $500. So they are earning almost the same thing. I'll put the same thing on the screen. Edmonton earns differently, Calgary earns differently. I took a step further to also check how much they earn in Ontario, so that we'll compare all of these prices and see. And they are almost similar, almost at par. Teachers earn almost the same thing across Canada. Yeah, it might be like 1,000 to 2,000 difference, but almost similar thing they earn. So why don't you want to go into teaching when you would be able to earn as much as 100K? Like, you'll be paid in 6 figures. And it doesn't take long in this Canada for time to fly by, and then you earn well. And the sweet thing is that, except you want to become a principal, you only go for professional development. They will not force you to go and take a master's degree or to go and do another extra degree and all of that. You improve yourself. Yes, you go for professional development and everything to make you learn better, to teach better in the classroom. But all of these other professions, they make you take this degree, more degree, this degree, and alas, you are going back to school back and forth. Except you want to become a principal or you want to advance to working in a university, you get to take more degrees. And aside from that, your job is secured, because it's you're working in a government school. Yes, you can decide to work in a private school, but mostly people work with the government. So you're either working in the Calgary Catholic or you're working with the Calgary district. So your job is secured, you're working with the government, nobody come and chase you away except to do something that actually needs you to be chased away. So you have a secure job, you're earning well, you have holidays off. Like this summer now, once it's June, school closes, you have like the whole of July, the whole of August before you resume in September. How sweet is it to become a teacher? So all of those notions that people say teachers don't earn well, teachers don't do this is just to encourage you, if you're watching, that teachers earn well in Canada, teachers earn well in Calgary, teachers earn well in Alberta, in fact in Canada as a whole. And it's a very good profession, a viable profession. You yourself will be happy. Yes, it might not be easy coming from your home country, converting your degree. I will not lie. Going to school here is hard because you have assignment due every single week. Especially if you have a family and you're going back to school with a family. It's hard. But is there any profession that is not hard, that doesn't require hard work? There isn't. And if you're going to be earning well, if you're going to have like all of these perks I just mentioned, it's safe to also go back to school or evaluate your document from back home and become a teacher. So don't let somebody just tell you, oh, teachers don't do this, teachers don't do that. Read for yourself. Think about it. Is it a profession I would enjoy? Was I a teacher back home and I enjoyed it? Would people be blessed by me to just teaching in the classroom? Or would I inspire people? Because for me, it's like, I want other people to see that you can do this for yourself. I want Black kids, children who come from different parts of Africa to see that, oh, this person is a teacher. I could also attain to be somebody like her one day. So all of these are things you should think about, things that I am working towards, and by the special grace of God, this time next year, when I'm doing my graduation, you people will be label. You will hear that way I graduated by the special grace of God. And I am done. I want to enter my teaching profession and start making my cool cash. But has it been easy? No. But God has been faithful. That's all I will say. It's just that, you guys, I just wanted to share my experience with you. I wanted to share how teaching has been for me in Canada and how I hope that by God's grace, obviously, this money would even increase in a couple of years because they review the salary every now and then. So everything is just going to work out. Come and become teachers. Now, I want to put a disclaimer to this video before I end this video, because I know it's long already. Disclaimer is that let nobody be in Nigeria and send message that how can they bring me in as a teacher. I did not say that can work. I say when you get here and you want to be a teacher, or you're a teacher from back home, you're in Canada, you don't know what to do with yourself. You are thinking, is teaching profession worth it? Do I just go back and the likes? Those are the people that we are talking about. Not somebody that will be in Nigeria and say, how can they sponsor me to come and become a teacher here? No, that's not what I just talked about. And I hope that you have listened to this thing with rapt attention and you've understood everything I just said. And I hope that by the time I talk about my experience for the next 1 year, teaching again in school, going back to school, teaching in my further practicums, I would have learned better also. I would have, in fact, be fully baked to be in the classroom. And I pray that God helps everyone, because it's not easy really. It's not easy, just by the grace of God. So I pray and I end this video with this prayer that God helps everyone to become who they want to be, to influence people, to make the world a better place. That's basically it. But I have shared my experience and I hope that you have learned 1 or 2 things. And if you know a teacher or you know someone wants to be a teacher, in fact, I've heard somebody told me that somebody was asking about becoming a teacher somewhere in a group and they just mentioned one, search for Inda Malala on YouTube, and my head was swelling like, oh God, me safe, I'm a whole university on my own. But in all sincerity, please share my videos. Please share this video to somebody and tell them to like. You too, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was really nice to shoot this video, and I hope that it didn't take too much of your time, even if you already did. But I hope that you've learned something. Thank you so much for watching this video once again. Please don't forget to share, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again in my next video.